finding indefinite integrals by simplification. So these are some of the questions that we'll be answering in this video. So please track the screen for today's lesson. We want to start today's lesson by first looking at some algebra concepts that we may already know. So a quick review. If I have A plus B divided by C, C is a common denominator for the A and B. So I can rewrite this by dividing A by C. So the first term by C plus divide the second term by the same common denominator. So you divide each term by the common denominator. So if there are 3 terms, you do the same thing. So for example, if I have A plus B plus C, let's make this D all over C, it will be the same as writing A over C plus B over C plus D over C. All right. So this is a concept that we want to use today to simplify the expressions that we have before we take the integral. So let's look at the first example. So the first question is this. We want to find the integral of x squared minus x to the power 4 plus 7 divided by x squared. Right. So to do this, I can apply the concept that we just discussed. So divide each term by the common denominator. There's a common denominator for each of these 3 terms. So let's split this by dividing each of them. So you have integral of x squared divided by x squared minus x to the 4 divided by x squared, and plus 7 divided by x squared, all this dx. Then I can simplify using the quotient rule. So if I use the quotient rule, this will be just 1, because x squared divided by x squared is 1. So 2 minus 2, which is 2 to the power, which is 0. So I have x to the power 0, which is always equal to 1, minus x4 minus 2, which is 2. So x squared plus, we can't do much about this, so I can simplify this. But the only thing we can do here is to apply changing this fraction to the exponential form. We change to exponential form so that we can easily take the integral of this, which we've already done in the previous lesson. So let's rewrite this. So this becomes 7x to the power negative 2. So the negative exponent rule. So all this dx. So now this is in a very simple form that we can take the integral of, applying our anti-power rule of integrals. So let's apply the anti-power rule. But before we do that, we can split this up using the sum rule. So this becomes integral of 1 dx, so which is the same as writing just dx. If you think you're going to get confused, then you can just put the 1 here, minus integral of x squared dx plus 7 integral of x to the power negative 2 dx. So if we take the integral of dx, which is 1 dx, is a constant, right? 1 is constant, so it's the same, the variable comes back, so it becomes just x. This becomes x raised to the power 2 plus 1, which is 3, and we divide by 3, plus 7 x raised to the power, you have -2. So that's -2 plus 1, which gives us -1. So this becomes -1, and we divide by -1 plus the constant c. So this becomes, if you simplify this portion here, you have x minus x cubed over 3 minus 7, any number to the power -1, x to the power -1 now becomes 1 over x. So it just becomes 7 over x plus the c. Okay. So this becomes our answer. Right. So basically, you first have to divide each term by the LCD, or what you call the common denominator. Not the LCD, let's just call it the common denominator. And then you apply the sum or difference rule to separate the terms. And then you apply the anti-power rule. Anti-power rule. So those are 3 key steps that we use to answer this question. So 1, divide each term by the common denominator. So that's the first thing that we did. Then 2, simplify using the quotient rule. That'll be 2. Then 3, use the sum or difference rule. To separate the terms. And then 4, apply the anti-power rule. Okay. So those are the key steps for doing this problem. Okay. Okay. Great. So let's try the second example. Okay. So the second example, I'll do the same thing. Common denominator is x cubed. So let's split that up. So x to the power 6 divided by x cubed minus 2x to the power 4 divided by x cubed plus x cubed divided by x cubed, all this dx. So if I simplify this, I'll get 6 minus 3, which is x cubed, minus 2x to the power 1, 4 minus 3, and then plus this will be 1, all dx. So if I apply the sum and difference rule, this will be integral of x cubed dx minus integral of 2x dx plus integral of 1 dx, which is just dx, which is equal to, this will be the same as writing x to the power, add 1 to the exponent, so that's 4 over 4 minus 2 can come out, so 2 out, and the integral of x dx, that will be x raised to the power is 1, so plus 2, plus 1, that gives us 2, and divide by 2, then plus integral of 1 constant, is just x, the variable comes back, plus c. If we simplify this, then we have x to the power 4 minus x squared plus x plus c. And then you have your answer. Right, so these are the 4 steps that we used in answering this particular question. Okay. Great. So let's try another problem using the same key steps. So this will be a little bit more challenging than the one that we did. So track the screen again for this. My common denominator, so I can split up and divide each of them, each term by by common denominator. So I have integral of x to the power 7 divided by x to the power 5 minus x to the power 6 divided by x to the power 5 plus x to the power 5 sine x divided by x to the power 5. So all this dx. Let's simplify each of these. This gives us integral of x squared, 7 minus 5, minus integral of, let's simplify this first. Then this will give us x, 6 minus 5, plus, now x to the power 5, x to the power 5, so this can cross out, can cross this out. So I have sine x dx. So this is simplified. So it fits into a format that we can easily take the integral of. So if I apply the sum and difference rule here, then we have integral of x squared dx minus integral of x dx plus integral of sine x dx. And how do you find the integral of x squared? Anti-power rule, add 1 to the exponent, so it becomes 3 divided by the sum, which is 3. Minus invisible 1 here, so 1 plus 1, that gives us 2, and divided by the sum, which is 2. What's the integral of sine x? Integral of sine x is negative cosine of x. So remember that integral of sine x is negative cosine, not cosine. It's negative. And then plus a constant c. Right, so this is simplified. So we just stop here. That's our answer, final answer. Right, so just take 30 seconds to look at this again, pause the video and look at this, write down any question that you may have, and I will discuss later. I'll look at one more example, and that will be number 4, example 4. Okay. Very similar to what we just done. So try the screen one more time as I go through this. I have a common denominator here. So I can split each of the terms up by dividing by a common denominator. So let's do that. So I have sine of x to the power 8 divided by x to the power 6 plus 2 x to the power 6 divided by x to the power, sorry, I have this is 4. It's 4. So this is 4 plus x to the power 4 cos x divided by x to the power 4. All this dx. let's simplify what we have here. So we have integral of x to the power 4 plus this will be 2x to the power 6 minus 4, which is 2, plus this x to the power 4 cross out x to the power 4, the same. So we end up with cos of x dx. Now we can apply the sum rule. So I can split this up. So integral of x to the power 4 dx plus integral of 2x squared dx plus integral of cos x dx. So it's in the form that we can easily take the integral of. This will give us anti-power rule. So we have 4 plus 1, which is 5, divided by the sum, which is 5, plus constant multiple 2, so that can come out of the integral. So I got 2 out, and then I have integral of 2 squared, s squared will be 2 plus 1, which is 3, divided by 3, plus what's the derivative, what's anti-derivative of cos x? Antiderivative of cos x is sine x, sine x. So let's write that down, sine x, and then plus a constant c. So this is our answer. So the key takeaway here is to remember the antiderivative of sine and cosine, right? Some people end up mixing up the two. So take note of that. Note antiderivative of sine of x dx is equal to negative cos x, whilst the antiderivative of cos x dx is equal to sine x, right? So don't get confused. When we're talking about derivative, it's different. Derivative then is cosine. This derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. But this time we're talking antiderivative. So you have to be careful. These are the two things that you should remember under antiderivative. Great. So I'll see you on Zoom call with any questions that you may have. See you soon.